plays the ball to Casey, which I don't think he wanted. And that's a good ball for Chris Cook. Cook going in on the keeper. Magnificent goal by Chris Cook. Oh, tremendous.
Step to Mark Angel. Good delivery as well. Free header and a goal. Oh, what an introduction. Ray Warburton with a header. And surely now, Boston United are on the way to the Football League for the first time in their history.
Here is Whittle. Knowles. Foulis. And Boston do have their equaliser. Brackley back in possession. And there it is, the final whistle. Boston United are promoted back to the National League.
Greatest of escapes from Boston United. They looked dead and buried at one point, 12 points away from being a National League side once again, but they've done it. Graham Coughlin has worked absolute miracles here at the Jatemans Community Stadium.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Up the Pilgrims. My name is Damien and I am joined once again from Stedders, and we've got David on location. Good afternoon, or good morning and good afternoon, guys.
Yeah.
How are you all doing, David?
I'm all right. I'm camped out in the middle of Barcelona Airport right now. Let's hope for no more delays, but you know, you caught me at the right time and we've managed to squeeze one in. So, no, one needed doing. So, we're here now. And I apologise for my audio quality is not the best, but, you know, we'll make do with what we've got.
There you go. And that is dedication, you know, all the way from Barcelona. And he still manages to get a podcast in. Stedders, how are you doing?
Got good. Better to do, mate.
I am not in Barcelona. I am in sunny Butterwick. So it's close enough, isn't it? But yeah, good, thank you, mate. All good. Yes, even better after the result on Monday as well.
Yeah, of course. And we're gonna delve straight into it on here. Obviously, the season has finally started after the Morecambe cancellation. Took on Aldershot and we won 3-2. Then it was defeat at home to Halifax 1-0. Defeat away to Eastleigh 2-0, and then we beat Wealdstone 2-1 at home on Bank Holiday Monday. Going to start off with the Aldershot game because David, I believe you were there.
Mm-hmm. I was.
How was that
Aldershot game? Yeah, it was. It was a weird game. You know, we got in front quite early on with a Linnell John Lewis. What a header that was, by the way. Great cross by Cropper on the right hand side to stick it in there. And it's just, you know, you could tell by his Nelson experience, you just knew if it would land on John Lewis's head, he puts it away. And he's certainly been doing that and carrying that on since then. But, you know, it was just a great first goal. Then we let them back into it. And then we scored again. And then we let them back into it. And then we scored this weird deflection with Sloggett opening his account for the season. And no, they scored after that, didn't they? At the end, yeah. And then it was a weird, funny old game. We had chances. We had quite a few chances. To be fair, we probably should have stuck them away. There's a few big chances. I think I can remember Connor Teal having a big one at the far post off a corner, off a set piece or something. But they couldn't just turn it away. And obviously, I missed the red card for Widrington as well. Bit funny that, actually, to be fair, but no, it was a hard fought game, you know, a game that you're going into thinking, oh, we've got 10 men in it, we should be able to steamroll these easy. To be fair, we did it the Boston way. We made it a lot harder than it should have been.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, a win at the end of the day, I guess a win is a win. And obviously it was on to the Halifax game. I mean, I unfortunately didn't get to see much of the Aldershot game. You know, I have managed to see the goals, but not managed to see much of the game, unfortunately. I couldn't get down to that one. But
I think what you just said there, a win is literally the only thing that we take from that. You know, we got some injuries from that game as well. It wasn't wasn't a quality game of football, but we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. So that was really all you could probably take from that first opening game. Get the points and try and move on to the next one.
Yeah, of course.
Well, guys, we're just going to talk about these four games. I think that first 90 minutes probably sums up Boston's first 4 games, to be quite honest. Completely bonkers.
Yeah, it does.
Control at one point, and I think Graham mentioned it about that word control a lot in his post-match interview, didn't he? We just seem to lose control of it. I don't think the red card helped the game, to be honest with you, either. As much as it helped, give us a man advantage, I don't think it helped the game as a spectacle, because I think Boston actually played better against the 11 than they did against the 10. So,
Definitely.
And so it made it a bit less of a spectacle. And again, we'll talk about this National League, but bonkers, isn't it? The Aldershot went on that 3-2 losses for 3 games, and then I've gone and scored 9 goals in 2 games. Who could have thought that? But yeah, I think it just about sums up these first 4 games. But like you say, we'll talk about the other 3 now, won't we?
Yeah, of course, because we then went on to a home game against Halifax, and it was a weird game. I mean, everyone was, we paid the respects, at the beginning to John Blackwell, and and it was an emotional night, for all Boston United fans, and the game just. There just wasn't too much for Boston, was it? I mean, I don't think the referee helped, but at the same time, I don't think the players helped themselves. Really, it was just a weird evening of football. Just couldn't seem to get it together, could we? And go on, David.
I'd argue none of the sides, Halifax or Boston, really got going.
No.
And when Halifax did get the lead, they were quite industrious. They're quite an industrious side. They play well. There's some big boys in that side. Seems like every team we're playing up against has got a lot of height. Maybe that's one thing to look at. But no, it was ridiculous. And the amount of they just played to win, as you should. But it was ridiculous the amount of fact that they were doing like proper end game management from the minute that they scored. And that's all they were playing for. They got the 1 goal, and they were confident in their ability that they could sit that. That's probably something that we can't do with this youthful side that we've got. But no, it was a shame. A good night to see all the fans turning up, but it's just a shame that the players couldn't really, spark anything from that and try and get another goal back. John Lewis missed that big chance in the second half where he probably should have put it away, but I don't. That's probably the only one that I particularly remember, and they didn't have many shots as well. So I just think it was a poor night of football all around, to be perfectly honest. The Halifax came away with 3 points.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously on the back of 2 defeats for them as well, when they came to Boston. So obviously that goal gave them a lot of confidence, Steaders. And I mean, one thing I have actually got down in my notes today is that I find that the National League has got a lot more physical this season. Just in the few games that I've been to and I've watched so far, teams are a lot bigger than us, aren't they? And it's going to be a long, old physical season for the teams.
Yeah, and I know you say it's a lot more physical, but we did learn that a lot last season as well. That's what's going to be going to have to be taken. But that game itself was so flat, no creativity. The missing the link with Frankie Maguire. I think Leo was on commentary with us for the first time on the radio, and you summed it up perfectly. The creativity spark that he brings to that side was just missing from that night alone. We missed that final ball, that final pass, that person just get the foothold on the game and get us going again. We had the usual from Dylan Hill, we always get hard work, effort, but no creativity, nothing coming out of the midfield, which was a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, Halifax did a number on us. And again, they're turning into a bogey side. That's 1-0 3 times running now, home and away in the last 3. So if you go into the away game, you know what to put on your predictor. But yeah, no. It wasn't a great game. It's not one we can talk about for the ages. If you was a neutral going to watch that, I think you'll never go watch another game there against them 2 sides again, would you? So, it wasn't one for the fans or one to write home about. That's for sure. And ultimately, Boston came away with nothing when they really wanted a good start at home.
I mean, one thing I found as well, obviously where I'm positioned in the ground is quite near the benches, and the 4th official especially, as well as the referee, the officials on that night were absolutely awful. I mean, the amount of times their manager was outside of his box, that, and nothing was said. As soon as Graham did it, he was told to go straight in his box. Ben Grist wanted to take a throw, and the assistant just stood in his way and wouldn't let him throw it. And then Donnelly was brought down on the edge of the area. The ref blew up, got the physio on for treatment, and then gives them the free kick. It's like, what was happening?
He got absolutely upended, didn't he? He went over. Me and David said on commentary, virtually a somersault.
Should have heard my reaction. Oh my god! I had to keep myself together because I was going to go mental. But it was a shocking challenge. He did fly through him, but Donnelly was doing a somersault in the air. But these officials, we knew the standard from last year. They're not changed. It's still the same. It's always been. And people say it will balance out over the season, but Boston could have been in the shout of a very good attacking free kick there, and maybe even Halifax maybe even being a man down. But you never know. On another night, it might be given. What can you say? There's no consistency anymore, is there?
What I would say is I don't think Boston deserved anything from that game either.
No, exactly.
No.
I don't think any fan deserves anything from that game, that performance.
It'd be different if we felt that we played better overall, but the fact was it was so flat that realistically you look back on it and you even question would it have really changed the game that much? You could argue not, because Halifax had our number from minute 9 when they scored.
Exactly, and I mean I think we could have played all night then, and I don't think we would have scored, and stick another 90 minutes on and we still wouldn't have scored. So definitely one of them games. But we then went on to Saturday at Eastleigh. Did you go to that one, Stedders?
No, I didn't.
No. I mean, I managed to watch. I don't know if you managed to watch it, David, at all.
I was busy that day. No.
You're all lucky.
I did have a look at the highlights. Huh?
Yeah.
All lucky not to watch it. Yeah. Can't be that bad.
It wasn't the best of games, unfortunately. Didn't really produce much. Eastleigh, from the first minute, were all over us. I mean, I was watching the game on the TV and I'm thinking to myself, I'd like to see up the other end at some point in the game, because we kept seeing down the one end, Eastleigh having chance after chance, and obviously it paid off eventually for them. But overall, not a great game. And Graham was very critical as well. I don't know if you heard the interview with Graham after it. He was very critical of his team. And Stedders, do you think it was fair of Graham to say the things he said?
I think it's fair of what he said. Would I put it on the radio? Not so sure, and it's so early on in the season. I think I'd have probably kept it to changing rooms. But he wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll tell you exactly what he thinks. He's never going to shy away from comments like that, is he? So we've got to take Graham. He is, and that's how he is. And he was clearly very frustrated with that. And he wanted that reaction from them to go away for them a couple of days, just thinking time before the Monday game, didn't he? And tell them what he thought about them. But the penalty, is a shocker, isn't it? He shouldn't be making that challenge there, should he? It's a definite penalty. We all know that. Second goal was just being caught out again. A bit more of our Achilles heels at the minute, which is balls into the box and second contacts on balls. Just can't get to grips with some of them as well. It was a bit of a cheap goal to give away. But I respect Graham. We've got to take it. We would much rather have him being like this than previous that we've had before, which won't say anything. Mm-hmm. We take Graham as and when he comes, and he got that reaction, didn't he? As we'll speak about in a minute. So did it work? Bit of reverse psychology, I think. I think he did it to get that out of them. He's a master of it, isn't he? Getting the best out of players. So stroke of genius for me as much as anything. So it's one for the genius column from Graham for me, not from one for like you say, bringing down the players. I thought he did a great job of what he did. So there we go. Yeah,
and David, I mean, you said you saw the highlights. What did you sort of take from it?
It was much of the same, really. The Halifax game, we never really got going. Like Tom's talked about, the balls into the box, especially for the second goal. Oh my word, they're just not reacting enough fast enough at the back, I didn't think. And the left winger was just allowed to float the ball into the far post, and it deflects to somebody. We head it away, and then the second ball comes, and he just heads it straight in. Apologies if you can hear that.
That's fine.
But no, it was really, really frustrating watch, a frustrating rewatch. So Yeah, but it got better though, didn't it? It got better, and Graham got the reaction that he wanted. I'd much rather Graham be like that, like Tom touched upon. We haven't really had a manager that's been really outspoken in the way that Graham is. Graham will always be Graham, and we love Graham for being Graham because Graham got us out of that bad spot last season, his management team. So, I have full trust in his ways, but I think he would have always said, "Oh, I was looking for a reaction if we got the win anyways." But if not, he probably would have gone a different route on his radio interview. But, we trust in what he does. And, we got the 3 points, didn't we? So, it's all round.
It is. And, of course, this Bank Holiday Monday, I believe 2 of us were there, and one of us watched it on the telly, and 2-1 win against Wealdstone. Must say it right as well. And after last season, I did remember, and it was again though. I don't think the performance, especially the first half, wasn't great. I mean, Wealdstone did hit the bar and the post on several occasions. Looked very dangerous going forward, but at the end of the day, Lady Luck, was on our side for a change, and we managed to get 1 decent goal and a lucky deflection, maybe. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what you guys would say for Sloggett's goal. David?
Finish. That's what I call it. I call it a wonderful finish. Flicked it into the bottom corner. Definitely meant it.
Yeah, and I mean, how did you see the game, David? You were obviously watching it on the telly.
Much the same as you, to be honest. It was really poor first. I think we all came to agreement that we definitely did not deserve to win that game. I don't think, especially from the performance in the first half. The second half, maybe, pushing you towards, we probably could have got something out of it, and we just got lucky. I think we've been, in need of luck sometimes, and most of the time it didn't fall by our side, but this time it just landed for us right, and we got the 3 points. Good goal, especially for the first one. Kieran Donnelly, instant impact. We have to talk about that man because he's been absolutely quality whenever he's been needed and wanting to come on the pitch. He's just got that desire and that heart to win the ball back high up, and it works in the system so well. He's just able to drag it across goal, and Lionel John Lewis is not going to miss one there, is he? And it's just a great 3 points. Hopefully, we build on that when we go to Truro, who are bottom of the league and have scored 1 goal, conceded 9, and have got 0 points. So you just look at it like that. We're moving on, and we're trying to pick up points and get rolling, try and get as far up that table, as many points on the board as we can. Because if you think of it, last year, about this time, we've still sat on 0, or we might have got the 3 points at Sutton by then. So who knows? But it's definitely positive compared to where we were last season.
Well, I can quickly tell you, this time last season, after 4 games,
You're prepared, aren't you?
I am. We'd lost to Rochdale 3-0 at home. We'd lost to Forest Green Rovers 4-0 at home.
Yeah.
We'd lost to Southend away 2-0, and we had just played the Tamworth at home, and it was 1-1. So we had 1 point.
90th, yeah.
Yeah, then they equalised, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
kick of the game.
1 point. So we've got +5 now. So we can't argue too much, can we, Steaders?
No, not at all. But guys, grab your masks and your swag bags because we got out of jail there, boys. That was a daylight robbery. 3 points for the boss. Unbelievable, let's be honest. Wealdstone looking far from the long ball team that we associated with them last season. They can pass a football. They can play football. I might have to rip up my pre-season predictions because I put them way down. They play like that. They will not lose many games of football. Trust me, they play very well. They would be pig sick to come away with nothing. Absolutely pig sick because they deserved minimum something from the game. But Boston held in, didn't they? They held in. They changed their shape. What I quite like about the Boston performances is that we're getting ugly games out of the way and winning. We don't always do that. We don't always play bad and win. So let's take it. Let's take everything that comes our way. Could argue that I was lucky and it was, but I thought it was instinctive. I want to give a shout out actually to a guy that's probably not got all the plaudits so far because obviously he's a big position to change. But Reece Lovett made 2 fantastic saves in that game on Monday. The first one he tipped over the bar from point blank range from about 25 yards out. And the second one was the one on the line. There was one on the line that he did from a second rebound. One came in, got blocked, came out to the player again. And he spread himself so far and wide to get something on it. Pivotal points in the game to make the saves. And yeah, I thought, he was just as worthy of the points as any of the outfield players. He kept us in it, like I say. So yeah, it was a 3 points we'll gladly take, but fully deserved. I'm not so sure. But if we have to win like that every game this season, I will be the most happiest Pilgrim ever.
Exactly. And like I was saying earlier, 3 points is 3 points. You want to do anything to get it, especially, at this stage of the season. You just want to build the points. As I say, we're +5 up on last season already, which is fantastic. Okay, you could maybe argue we haven't played the teams that compared to last season, like Rochdale and Forest Green as yet. But I mean, still, we've managed to pull out some results, which is great, and great confidence for the team.
That they'll be happy with with 6 from 12. Personally, I think that's probably where they pitch themselves from them first 4 games. Would it have been from the 2 games that we got them from? Probably not.
Probably not.
It doesn't matter how they come, but
does it matter?
Do you agree that 6 from 12 is probably about right?
I would say so.
It's 50% in it. You win 50% of your games, you're about there, aren't you? So, yeah, who knows? I think the most important thing is that we're winning games that we probably would have lost last year. I think that's definitely a thing to look at, is that games where we would have crumbled, how Coolhouse was so defensively astute and he tried to sit back whenever we got a lead and we just kept conceding goal after goal after goal, set piece after set piece after set piece. It's good to see that now we're able to grind out these results in a way that we sort of haven't done for a few years now. So it's good to see we're making progress that way as well. And I think we're going to pick up many points from playing ugly and just trying to hold and defend leads, because it's a kind of leadership and kind of wantingness and kind of relationship that Graham has with his players that he can drive us over the line. And he's sort of that character. So, he's really gritty. I imagine he wants a really gritty changing room. And, he wants players to have the hearts on their sleeve. And they certainly showed that on Bank Holiday Monday. So, yeah, more of the same, please. And I'll be a happy boy.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, the one main thing that we've been talking about is obviously how badly we've been playing in most of the games so far, especially after a fantastic pre-season, really, where we blew teams away. I know, okay, some of them were under 21s, but we still played really well, looked strong. And obviously the league's going to be different, but what do you think is down to? Do you think it's the injuries, Tom, that's down to the reason we've suddenly gone so badly?
I don't like using the word bad. Like I say, 6 from 12. I'm very happy with that.
Well,
but I know performances aren't there, like you say. You can't look any further than that long, extensive injury list we've already got up there. And he said, Graham himself as well already, and he said he's got to look at his programs, he's got to look at his fitness regime. Is he working him too hard in training? Because it's hamstrings as well, isn't it? It's not just, when you get that many hamstring injuries. I think Spurs had it, didn't they?
They did last season.
And they put it down to the same kind of thing. So maybe just analysing it and see what it is. But injuries to key players is probably just why the performance isn't there. But I think you got to, like I say, I'm always a glass half full kind of guy. You know what I mean? Everyone was doom and gloom after the Halifax and the Eastleigh games. They're on a little bit more of a high now from the Wealdstone game. And we go into a winnable game at Truro. Not going to be easy, but a winnable game there. So it's all about momentum. And the more these guys play together, the better. But yeah, it is the injuries has ravaged us so far this season already. You give us a full playing squad, you've got a different squad altogether, haven't you? And a different 11 possibly as well. But that it's only going to be time until that. Jacob Hazel we knew about was going to be long term anyway.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think Frankie Maguire's not too far away, is what I've been hearing. He was only a knee injury, a smaller one, so I don't think he's far away. So you might see him back soon. Like I say, there's a couple of hammies in there as well. They went there. But one person who did come back on Monday who deserves a little bit of credit as well is Kelly, who I thought did excellent well in his position and just give us that little bit more stability and that wise National League head just to see that game out on Monday. His experience could be vital for us in that back line, in that youthful back line, which we find ourselves at the minute. So Michael Kelly, I thought, came on and did a great job, to be honest with you. Didn't have a sniff down his side at all game. So I thought he did excellently well. And like I say, I think he could be valuable in these next few games whilst we've still got a few on the injury table.
Yeah, of course. And as I say, we've had, obviously, we've had a few of the new players in this season, and now we've had a chance to look at them. And David, who's impressed you so far out of the new signings? Who've you especially taken a look and thought, yeah, definitely worth getting in?
I think John Lewis was an astute signing for us. Look at his age. You think, he might not have the legs, and he's not. He's coming off quite early on in fixtures. Donnelly also, I think, up top, they are a menace if they work together and they combine together quite well. I think another one you have to touch on recently, I wasn't very impressed with him at the start, but Ben Griss has really come along in the past few games, I believe, and personally. So, there's a few there that I've picked out, but there's two young guys trying to prove themselves in the division and an old pro that's trying to, try and maybe wind down his career a little bit. But the fact that we've got all these guys in a squad together, mixed up, it's the perfect blend of youth and experience. And then especially those two up top, John Lewis and Donnelly, I think they're a dangerous strike partnership. If they can get scoring goals and assisting each other, well, you never know. At the back with Griss as well, I think there's bags and bags of potential there that's yet to be unlocked. He wouldn't be in Leicester's academy if he wasn't that good, would he? No. So, they're just a few of them that have impressed me so far. But, majority of the squad is probably, we're yet to see the best of them because it's so early on in the season and they haven't really gelled together as much. I haven't played. Maybe after about 10 or so games, you can make a proper judgment on them. But from what I've seen so far, I'd pick out Griss, John Lewis, and Kieran Donnelly.
What about you, Tom? What's yours?
Well, I'd just like to tell you, I was the biggest Ben Griss fan pre-season. So watch this. I love him, by the way. I love how he goes. But actually, I'm going to.
Yeah, I know you predicted the future. The future.
Watch this space. Steaders tells you. But no, the one person I'm going to mention is one that David didn't mention, actually, is Alex Lancashire, who I think has been fantastic in that.
I was going to say him.
Brilliant. I love him. He reminds me a bit of old Tom, who we had last couple of seasons, who bless him, moved on along now onto Chester, isn't he? Remind me of his second name because I can't remember his second. Tom Leake. There we go. A bit of him.
Didn't want to leak in the defence.
No. That's terrible. But no, he reminds me a little bit of the stature in terms of the way he plays. But Alex Lancashire, I think, has been a fantastic signing, and he's slotted into that position well. He's had to play a couple of positions already this season, actually, so he's versatile in that sense. But I've loved what I've seen from him. I reckon he'll get a few goals for us as well. Not as many as Jay Rowe, mind you, because that was ridiculous season, wasn't it? But no, Alex Lancashire, for me, of course, Kieran Donnelly, he's going to be mentioned as well because his energy and the way he can change a game is like a flick of a switch. Like you say, at 45 minutes, he had to come on and he changed that game within minutes, didn't he? You could almost see the hunger in him to come on and do well and make a change on the game. If you've got players like that, they are worth their weight in gold. Absolutely worth their weight in gold. So a little mention for Ben Griss again for you, but yeah, Griss, Lancashire and Donnelly for me have been fantastic. The shop's the shop, isn't he? He's the man as well, isn't he? Yeah. How good would it be to play with him in your side with all that experience and that lot? Just learn from him in training every day, see about how he goes his business. And again, is he fully fit? I don't know if he is. A fully fit Linnell John for us could be fantastic. Come when it gets congestion time and the cups come in and that lot, and we've got more games coming on our schedule. A fit John Lewis is where we need him. And thank you very much, York City, for that.
Absolutely. I was going to say Alex Lancashire as well, Linnell John Lewis. But I mean, is there a player that you think hasn't lived up to your standard as yet? I mean, like you say, it's early season, but is there a player, David, that you may think, okay, I haven't seen the best of him yet?
Way to put it on me.
Tom, have you got anyone? Or shall I go?
Well, I think the one that I will mention, and when we say these things, guys, don't take it. If you're listening, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it purely from lack of minutes he's played, and that's
Yes.
and that's the one that I was thinking of.
Have you seen my notes?
Possibly the first 45 a little bit lost on Monday, didn't he? He didn't know what
Yeah.
to go high. I think we tried playing him as like a false 9, 10, or in that 10 position just behind Linnell. I don't think it's his preferred position either. Apparently got a bit of an eye injury, a bit of a migraine I was hearing as well on the post.
I saw he still had his kit on at the end of the game. He had some ice, but it was kind of at the back of his head. That's
never a good sign, is it? No. I mean, problems up there. That's a really dangerous sign for a footballer, isn't it? So, well, no matter what, but you know, he would be the one. But again, that's through lack of minutes. He didn't play any of the minutes, I don't think, for the first 3 games. So to expect him to come on and I don't know. You know, it's hard. It's a hard ask for him, but he would be the one probably that I hope a little bit more from. But it's time in games. We're so early in the season. We can't be calling too many out so early on in the season. His time to come, and if he takes it or not, it's up to him, isn't it?
Of course, exactly. And I mean, like you say, he hasn't had the many minutes. You know, and it's definitely down to that we haven't seen the best of him yet. You know, it's not that he's an awful player, because he's not. You know, he's proved it, and Graham wouldn't have brought him in. So he's a great player. We just haven't seen the best of him. And I mean, in pre-season, he seemed to be playing in front of the back four that we had for some of the games, and it seemed to work really well for him there. Whether, you know, if that's his best position there, maybe, you know, and especially with our defence, you know, losing Zach Mills at the moment, it's obviously weaker than it is. Maybe Reiki could fit in that position just in front of them to give them a bit more, you know, time there to help him out a little bit more.
Unfortunately for Reiki, he's playing for one position, and that's Jordan Richards' position, because you ain't going to flog it, is he? And he ain't dropping anytime soon. So, you know, he's playing for one position out of that 3 in the midfield, I think, personally. So it's a tough ask for him, isn't it? Like you're saying, you've got a seasoned pro in Jordan Richards, been there, done it, won the shirt many, many times, or you've got an unproven guy. I was quite surprised he didn't come on in that Halifax game, actually. That was the game when I thought he should have come on, personally, when we needed that little bit of creative spark, a bit of that coming on off the bench for me. And I took Richards off that game for him for that reason, give him the last 20, 25, and just see if he could have made something happen. But Graham chose not to do that, and in Graham we trust. But yeah, you know, his preferred position just in front of that back four. Do you think that's probably the reason, David, we've not seen a lot of him, because we don't actually know his best place to play?
Maybe, you know, like you guys touched on, I think it's unfair to judge him on a game where we know he was played out of his position on that sort of left flank in behind. He's not a 10, is he? He plays where Jordan Richards does. So, like you say, he's going to find it hard to get into the side where he plays. Maybe, like you said, the weakened defence is the reason why he's not been playing, and he hasn't really got, you know, a rubber the green playing. I'm sure he will, though. I think the squad is at the size now that every player has to be utilised in the right way, and every player will be utilised because it's so thin at the moment. Everybody's getting sort of a chance to show what they're worth, and everybody's, I think, nearly had at least one appearance in the National League, bar Bobby Jones now. So everybody's getting chances to play, which is good. But when all these guys come back into contention, it's just about them trying to hold on to that shirt that they've got and hold on to that position. But you've got people like Zach Mills who will just walk straight back into the team for somebody else. So, you know, I think it's good to see that all these players are getting utilised, but sometimes not in the right positions. And I think it's unfair to judge Reiki on a game where he wasn't being played in his preferred position. But I think he will probably get used over the season, especially with injuries and stuff, which we're seeing a lot of. You know, players do get injured. They're not going to be able to go and play 55 games a season or whatever. He'll get his chance. He will definitely get his chance. It's just about taking that chance when he gets the chance, taking that chance and trying to solidify his spot in a team. So when the players come back, he's the preferred starter.
David, was there any players, you dodged the question, was there any that you think need to step up the level?
I thought I got away with it there.
Right. You nearly got away there.
I'll tell you, right, this might be a bit unjust, but I would go for, he's a young lad, Manny Norkett. I think, you know, the expectation levels were there. He's got the big names on his CV. He's played Football League before, not a lot of Football League, He's played youth football, but you would expect a little bit more promise. He's good at what he does. He's fast. He's really rapid. Actually, I watched him chase down a ball in pre-season. I think one game. I think it was against Sheffield. It's all there. It's all there. There's a making of a good player in there, but he just can't seem to break into the side. I don't think it's any fault of his own, but I'd like to see when he does get a chance, he seems a sort of bit of a little bit disconnected from the rest of the side. Whether that's he's not been playing, I don't know. I think, like I said earlier, I'm going to try and escape from really putting anybody in the mud, because I think it's really just unfair to judge 4 games in, maybe 10 or so. Don't write this down because I know you're going to ask me soon again. But it's hard to judge. It's really hard to judge, and I don't think you can make a judgment on it. I don't think Graham is making a judgment on it. Really, wait till you've got we'll see where we are on the table, and you sort of take stock a few games in, and then you can make a proper judgment on it then.
Yeah, and just going back to
sorry, I sort of backed out of that. That's my
no, you're fine. No. Just going back to Jordan Richards, and I know, Steaders, you're a big fan of Jordan Richards, so you have been in the past. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't say he's had the best of starts this season either at the moment. Would you agree or disagree?
I think he would agree. I don't think anybody would agree apart from him. He's probably the most honest guy. If you asked him the same, he probably agree. At times he's giving the ball away, but again, I find it that he's probably playing a position there, and it is his position, don't get me wrong, but he's missing that kind of. Greg Sloggett's a great player, by the way. I love Greg Sloggett, but I find him and Jordan Richards a little bit too similar in that sense. In the sense that I think that Jordan Richards plays better with a flair player by the side of him. Greg Sloggett's not a flair player, unfortunately. Martin Woods was a flair player.
Yeah.
When them two played together, you could see the difference. That's where Richard came to the forefront, because Woods has got that little bit of class and a bit of graft, hasn't he? A little bit of guile. And I think that Sloggett and Richards are a little bit too similar for my liking. Dylan Nils will run all day. I think he's probably already to Truro by now. He's on the practice warmed up for Saturday's game. Bear in mind that it is only Wednesday. But we'll get that from him all game. But I do wonder sometimes, is there too much of a similarity there between them? Could we play Sloggett and could we play Reiki there instead? That would be interesting if that comes up at some point. I don't know if Reiki and Richards could play together. I'm not too sure about that one, because again, I think they're similar. But I just think that Jordan Richards comes more to the forefront when a flair player plays by the side of him. Somebody who's just got a little bit more guile than himself, because he's a rough and tumble kind of guy. Break the play up, get rid of the ball, and go and support wherever he can as well. But yeah, it's not been the greatest start for Jordan. I think he'll admit it himself. But yeah, like I say, the best is coming. Would I ever switch him out of a team for me if he was available? Probably not, because he's kind of like made that position his own at the minute, hasn't he? So it's his to lose, and that's the point, isn't it? He's got. The thing is, Damo, is they've got to now step up the levels. Now they've won on Monday. Truro's the next stepping stone, isn't it? And then we've got Hartlepool, 2 very hard away games. It's not the likes of Jordan Richards and these senior players now to get their Boston shirts on and step up to the plate and show these youngsters what National League away games are all like, because it's different kettle of fish when we play away. And that's in terms of the away fans as well. The away fans are always up for it. If the players are up for it as well, who knows?
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see. But just moving on slightly, because David, is David still there?
He's gone a little bit.
Yeah.
He's still there.
He's still there. Oh, you're back again.
I am still
David
here.
is back again.
I'm still here. Of course I am. I'm always here.
Because
I've got nowhere to go, Damo. I'm stuck.
That's true. You're not going anywhere.
No, I'm not.
Because this past Monday, I'm just going to touch on it, because you actually was in Croatia this past Monday, weren't you? And you actually visited a friend of the show and a former guest as well, Dino Stankovic, who went back to Croatia last year. And yeah, you actually went to the bar that he frequents in, and a Boston United fan bar in Croatia there, and watched the game. And how was it? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I popped in a text on it must have been the Saturday, I think. And I was like, Dino, we should get together. And he was up for it. You know what he's like. He's got an infectious attitude. The guy's just a nice guy. You know, he was buzzing to see me, welcomed us with open arms. We joined the rest of the Croatians that were sat in the pub watching the game. It was a good 10, 20. He's converted a lot of his mates into Boston fans as well.
Brilliant.
All these guys sitting and watching the football, watching some National League. And because nothing else was on, they were sort of forced to watch it. So we were watching the National League around the table, watching Boston get 3 points. But no, I thank Dino for welcoming me and my friends into his pub. And you know, I hope he comes back soon, because the guy was just longing for it. He didn't want us to leave. We had to go back and get the ferry back to the island. And bless him, he was showing us all the clips of Boston in the past. And he's just such a nice guy. And if you haven't met him yet, please, Boston fans, meet him, because the guy is just amazing. He's just one of them people. He's so funny and happy, and you just enjoy to be around him. And you know, he's here for all the right reasons. And I hope he's coming back to Boston soon, because it'll be great to see him. He said, in that corner with his big Croatian flag again, and he just loves the football club. So no, if you haven't met him, and hopefully he comes back. But we do have a little interview with him on here on the old YouTube page and the Spotify pages. So you can go and listen to that. That was about a year ago now. I can tell you absolutely nothing has changed. He's still the same guy. He's still watching Boston every week. And he's still absolutely loving it.
Yeah, well, we'll have to get him back on again, I think, soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dino, if you are watching, get in touch, and hopefully we can arrange to get you back on the podcast very soon indeed. Right, I'm going to talk quickly now about the league table at the moment, because obviously we're only 4 to 5 games in at the moment. But are there any teams that have surprised you so far, good or bad? Steaders?
Well, which shall we start with? Let's start with the good, shall we?
Yeah.
The one team I think that probably all of us might look at it and think, wow, it's Brackley. I think they've had a really decent start to the season, haven't they? They've done all right so far. They're up there, aren't they? Got some good results as well, by the way. They've done all right. I think they've done pretty well to get themselves there after a few games. They'll be well happy with their start. On the downside, there's a couple, isn't there, really? If you look down that bottom of the side, Solihull Moors is another one that really hasn't the way they wanted to. And Woking are down there as well, aren't they, if I believe? Both of them yet to get a win in the National League this season, which is very strange. So, yeah, they're the two, really, that I've been disappointed with. But it's so early. I don't expect them to be down there. Don't get me wrong. They will pick the points as they go along. We all know, as Boston fans, how long this season is. You look at that table like we did come Christmas time, and it was a poor Christmas for us. It was all sad. It was Boxing Day. It was all sad.
Even February was bad.
At Valentine's Day, might as well have thrown it out the window, haven't we? And we all fought for the worst. We thought it's just a matter of time. And we know how it just takes that one bit of momentum, bit of a run to get yourselves out of it. So, yeah, don't expect them to be down there for much longer. But, yeah, I think they're probably the ones that I am surprised with. But, like I say, long season ahead.
Yeah, David?
For the people at the top, the team at the top, I think Scunthorpe have done well. We all had an inkling that Scunthorpe would do quite well in this division this season, but I didn't expect them to go on the run that they're having at the moment. They are flying high. Do I expect them to be there come the end of the year in the playoffs sort of area? Top 5, top 6? Probably not. I could see them falling off. I still think they can see too many goals for me, but they're going into it and they've got momentum now. And if they can stay where they are, well, that'll be a hell of a season. Like Tom mentioned, there are the obvious ones. There is Truro, who've just been promoted. I was a bit saddened by Truro. I thought they made some good signings. And John Askey's a great manager. I thought he would have done a little bit better than 24th place, but it's a bit of a shame. You've obviously got all the Boston contingent at Solihull Moors with Cam Green and Brad Nicholson. They got absolutely demolished 5-1 by Aldershot on Monday, I believe. So it's a bit of a shame to see him down there. And then the other side that I tipped for the playoffs was Woking, and bloody hell, I don't know what's going on down there. Neil Ardley's had an absolute stinker. So it's just so weird, this National League season. You can never predict anything at all. Who would have predicted us to stay up last year from where we were? Absolutely nobody. So that's why we watch football, and that's why we love this division, because it's so unpredictable and you can never know what's going to happen until it's finished.
Yeah, well, my surprise team, Yeovil, were having a blinder until half time on Monday, and then it just all fell apart second half. And they've even
Not a sack, isn't he?
Yeah, Mark Cooper got sacked as well
Cooper
yesterday, so not good for Yeovil. But now they're going to get a new manager in, and they're going to storm up that league now and finish in the playoffs. And I'm going to be correct.
As long as you think so, mate. Yeah, as long as you think so. That was a weird prediction, I must say. I was sat there going like, "Are you all right?" Oh well, as long as you think so. Are you going to become manager? Take it into your own hands, Damo.
Yeah, if they finish in the playoffs, I'll become their new manager, and I'll get them up that league and where they need to be. I mean, I agree pretty much with all the teams you've said, really. Scunthorpe, I didn't think we're going to do as well. I mean, the other question I've got is, the last few seasons, a lot of the teams that have come into the league have struggled. And this season, though, it seemed, apart from obviously Truro, they seem to have picked up the teams, the new teams seem to be picking up points. What's the difference this season, do you think, Tom, compared to, say, last season and the season before, where new teams have struggled in this league?
It's a great question, because usually we commented last season at this point about the gulf, didn't we, between National League North and National League. I don't think that gulf's there this season. I don't think there's a massive gap between the top and the bottom. South Shields are flying in that National League North, by the way. Not lost a game yet, have they?
No.
So I don't think the gap's there anymore. As big anyway. I think it's still there. Don't get me wrong. There is a gulf in quality, in signings, money being chucked at it. Of course there is. But I don't know if it's as big as it was this time last year. And I think that's what it is. Brackley and Scunthorpe have learned very quickly that they can find ways to win games, and that's worth its weight in gold. Boston struggled really until the back end of the season how to get them games. They've got their strategies and their ways of winning games, and they've got quality in their side. You can't refuse that as well. In Cam Gregory in the Brackley goal was an absolute fantastic signing for them, I thought. And he's had a great start to the season with them. But they've made, and Declan Howe's already showing why Boston should have gone for him in the summer. We're not saying they didn't, but they just couldn't get that signing over the line. But they just seem to have made the right signings. They've hit the ground running. It seems like they've gone on for the coattails of the playoffs and the winning the league last season, and just carried on that momentum. Momentum's a massive thing in football, isn't it? Boston just couldn't get to grips with it, with the way they played their style at the start of last season. Brackley and Scunthorpe don't play the way Boston played at the start of last season. They're not playing the football that way. So they've learned very quickly that's not the way to do it, like we tried to. And we got found out ridiculously at the start of that season. So maybe that and playing styles is the thing. But maybe the gulf in between the two is not so big. But I'd like to hear David's thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I think it's partly down to the quality of teams that have actually come up into the division. Brackley have been knocking on the doors for years. Scunthorpe have by far the biggest wage bill in the National League North. Boreham Wood are a massive, have a massive financial backing, and they've got a great manager there in Luke Goward, who's been there, seen it, done it all. The only surprise for me really so far is Truro, but I don't think out of any of the four promoted teams this year that they would. Maybe I don't think they'll struggle as much, because I think the quality of the teams that are waiting, knocking on the door. I mean, you saw Dorking, who another team who got relegated 2 years ago, failed to get up through the playoffs. They were first most of the season. They just dropped out of it at the end. I reckon they'd do all right in the National League if they got promoted this year. But you can't really tell. I think it's down to the fact that the quality and the size of the teams coming into the division. They're just doing well, and they're not falling behind like they were last year.
Yeah, I mean, both good points there, really. But obviously, we move on this weekend. We've got Truro on Saturday, the 30th of August. Are any of you guys travelling to Truro? No.
David's playing there now.
Ooh.
Sorry?
Ooh.
David's getting
Malaga's
the
far.
play.
Yeah, Malaga's far enough for me.
He is. He's on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on his way. No, it's good. I mean, it should be a good game. David, now what's your thoughts on the Truro game? You know, should easy 3 points or another tough game?
It's going to be tough because they're going to be wanting those points. You know, winless in 5 now, I think. So, yeah, they're going to be wanting them. But you know, the table and the form would suggest that Boston have to go there. I think it'll be a different kind of game. You know, it's going to be a bit weird for Boston because they're going to have the confidence going into it, and they're going to hopefully feel like they're going to be on top, and that they're coming into the game as favourites. So I think it's quite a bit different this time, and the players, you know, might not have been in that position before, especially the younger lads coming into it with on a roll. It's just about replicating what they did on Monday and making a better package and improving step by step and going out there to Truro. I know it's a long trip. I know it's a very long trip. We'll have to see how that affects teams. But people like York and stuff have gone there and managed to steal points away. So, you know, who knows? I'd like to think we'd go there and take 3, but I could see us drawing or something like that as well. But you know, I'm going to say we'll win on Saturday. I'm confident in Graham and his side.
Right. And Steaders, how's your take on Saturday?
I think that Truro's probably looked at this fixture as the first one they can probably win. I'll be honest with you. Their fixtures at the start of the season, they've probably earmarked this one as got a chance. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll probably fancy their chances against us, and they'll be itching to get off the mark. I would just please, Boston, do not underestimate them, because if you do and go into this game even at 80% on your game and not 100, they'll beat us. And I don't want that to happen because, like you say, we've got such a good result on Monday. I want Boston now to go out there and, like David said, show a bit more class, a bit more quality. And they're 2 more words that Graham's used in post interviews, both these games. We didn't get much quality on Monday, but we've got 3 points. Would I care again if it comes off somebody's arse cheek in the 89th minute and we see Jordi Hewula going across to the fans, going absolutely crazy? No, but would I love to see a better performance as a team and that? Of course we would. As fans, that's what we crave to see our team playing well as get results. But yeah, I just hope they don't turn up half on the boil, because if they do, then they're going to get a bit of a shock for them. Lyric Hassani plays for old Truro down there as well. I think Aidan Stone's not even managed to get a goal for him yet this season either, is he? He hasn't even started the game, which is crazy to think, isn't it? So
yeah,
Boston connections there as well. And long trip, and I just want to give a shout out to all them fans who are on MS events, and also Booster Buses making that long trip down there for either a weekend or a day trip. Credit due to each and every one.
I bet that weekend is absolutely class, to be fair.
I bet.
It sounds amazing.
Get across Europe, you know what I mean? And that's the truth, isn't it? It's travelling less time to get across Europe than what they're doing to go watch a football game. And the 4:30 start for Booster on that Saturday morning is going to kill them, isn't it? Let's be honest. Can imagine what time they're going to rock up at home. And I just hope it's worth it for all them fans, that they can experience it and bring some 3 points home for the Pilgrims. Come on, lads, you can do it. Do it for the fans, if nothing else.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be, as I say, my sentiment, thoughts as well. It's absolutely, it's crazy. There's the 4:30 start, but that's what they do, and absolutely well done to all of them. I really do wish I could go there. I actually watched them against Rochdale, I believe it was last week, and on the TV, the game, and the views and the ground were absolutely amazing. It was, I would so love to go down there and watch it, but yeah, unfortunately can't get down there this weekend. But yeah, I will be trying to hopefully watch it on the TV this week. But obviously, there's a quick turnaround after Truro, because what are the National League doing to us? We're away next Wednesday to Hartlepool, which is going to be a a very hard game. Hartlepool, despite all their problems, have started off really well, and it's looking like I think we might struggle in that game. David, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, probably. They've got goals up the top of that pitch. You know, we saw them lose Duzarube, and Alex Reid comes into the side, and you know he's been bossing it ever since. I think he's 3-3 now, which is ridiculous to say that we're only 4 or 5 games into the season. So it's going to be hard. I wouldn't go up there hoping for much. The fact as well that the National League are killing us. We're going from one end of the country, and then in another few days' time we go straight back up to the furthest north we can possibly go. But no, if that's the way the fixture compiled, that's the way they're compiled. For somebody else will probably have to do it later on in the season, so you can't complain too much. But no, I think we will struggle in that game. But you never know, if we turn up and get a bit lucky and play and just type of football, we nick an early goal and we sit back and we have the same heart and desire and belief as we did the other day. Who says we can't walk away with 3 points?
That's very true, and obviously Stedders, in the pre-season, Hartlepool were after our manager as well, Coughlin, weren't they? And do you think he might have a point to prove as well up there?
Oh, got a point to prove. It's Graham. No matter where he's got a bit of a point to prove, hasn't he? So yeah, the thing is about this is though, I know we say about the miles, but get it out of the way in August whilst the weather's all right. But I'd say that's not January.
That's true.
So at least some fans can get up there. But I think it's going to have to be 2 contrasting performances as well, where I'd love to see Boston go and put on professional performance down at Truro and look a bit more quality. It's going to be a stay in the game kind of game on Wednesday night, I think. Stay in the game for as long as you can. Don't let them get an early goal. Don't let their fans get on top of you. Because if you do, then there's a fortress up there. If they get on the front foot, it's very hard to come around and turn a game around up there. So stay in the game. Don't concede early would be my message to them as well. It's going to take a lot of warriors, I think, up there as well. It's going to be a different kind of performance required to get anything up there. But yeah, if we get anything from that Wednesday night, I think that's a bonus points up there. To be honest with you, if they win on Saturday and then get anything from Wednesday, they're bonus points for me. And yeah, it's a lot of miles, a lot of dedication from the fans. But like I say, get it done in August while the weather's good, and then we can go to the likes of Scunny and that later on in the season when the weather's a bit more poor and the sun's not shining anymore. So yeah, and again, credit due to all the fans that are going to make that trip on a Wednesday, because that is a hell of a trip on a Wednesday.
Yeah. I was just going to say, actually, if you're going to Truro and you're going to Hartlepool, a credit to the club, absolutely. Absolutely fantastic. Let us know as well. Comment on to the bottom of this, on the bottom of this podcast as well. Do let us know if you are travelling to both. A real credit to the club. And then 2 weeks Saturday, we've got Solihull Moors, and should be another tough home game. But one, obviously, we're going to see 2 former Pilgrims back at the club, and an interesting game, like we said earlier. They're not doing too well, Solihull Moors. Hopefully, they won't have picked up too much by then. And Stedders, hopefully, another home victory.
Yeah, hopefully a good crowd there as well to see it. And let's give them too as well the credit they deserve. Without them, that we wouldn't have done as well as we did last season. So I hope we give them a little bit of a good ovation. The problem is with Boston is we've got players who come back and haunt us on our own ground. That's a lot, doesn't it? I hope that isn't the case. More than anything, we're going to have to obviously be careful of Brad's throw-ins. They're going to be very direct in the way they play, and they've got some good strikers up there with Dan Creaney at the top. So Boston's still got to be on their guard for that game. I think the good part about it is there is a bit of a gap, though, isn't there? Like you say, between the 2 games as well. So a little bit of a gap there for Boston to try and work their magic before that Saturday game and see what they can do. But yeah, a different kind of opponent who's had a bit of an indifferent start to the season, but like we said, their form's not going to stay like this. They will turn it around at some point. We just hope it's after that Saturday.
Yeah, of course. David, what's your thoughts on Solihull?
Well, you would think that they'd turn it around, but their manager, I can't remember the bloke's name, but I was reading some stats on it. He's got a ridiculous loss to win ratio, I believe. He's spent loads of money. He's made 15 new signings, and he just can't seem to get it right. I believe he used to be the former Wealdstone manager, and he got poached by them. So it's weird. So the fact that he's tried to do something He's tried to change the way of playing. They have gone more direct. Obviously, you can tell by signing people like Dan Creaney and having Cameron who delivers balls into the box. And also, you've got some big centre halves and Jamie Osborne and Brad Nicholson who can also throw the ball into the box. So they are going a lot more direct now. But they were a bit of a better footballing side last year. But they've changed their playing style and they still can't seem to get points. I wouldn't be surprised if he was next on the older chopping block, their manager, because I don't think he's been getting enough out of what he's been doing and getting enough out of the squad. So, that's what we're going to have to see. They should probably turn it around. I hope they do, because I predict them to be a lot higher this season. I want to win that prediction league again. But, I'm pretty disappointed with them so far. So if they stay on the run that they're on at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if he's shown the exit door.
Well, let's hope that they give him at least 2 more games to prove himself, or 3 more games rather, to prove himself, and then hopefully they will look at maybe replacing him, but we shall see. Right, well, that's about it from today. Thank you very much to you both. David, safe flight wherever you are off to next. And as I say, do subscribe. If you can see the subscribe button. We are all over social media, so look forward to hearing your views as well on what you think and how you think the team is doing this season. And we'll look forward to seeing you again very soon on another edition of Up the Pilgrims.